Right. Another question that was there in the Google Doc was about sampling. Now, I had explained to you that in qualitative research, we have population and we have a sample. So a population is a complete set of people that you can do your research on. Anybody that you could do your research on would be population. And if you select 10 or 15 or 12 out of those to research on, to collect data from, that would be your sample. So a sample is the subset of that population that you select and collect your data from. I've given an example, if you could please read that. So if I want to do research on impact of fiction among literature students, then my population will be all final year students because fiction is taught in final year. And then if I select 20 participants to interview, these 20 are my sample. Is population and sample clear to everybody? Now, this sampling needs to happen based on some reasons. You can't just say I'm selecting roll number 1 to 20. You have to give a reason for that. Why are you selecting roll number 1 to 20? Why are you selecting 5 men, 5 women? Is that important for your research? So what are the reasons that you are selecting your sample that needs to be understood by the researcher and explained to the reader in the methodology chapter? This will only apply to those who do qualitative research. If you're doing quantitative research, well, you won't, I don't think anybody among you is doing quantitative research, but if people are doing quantitative research, that's probably in linguistics. If you're doing textual analysis, you don't have a sample. Okay. Now, within sampling, we have two kinds, probability and non-probability samples. Probability sampling is used in quantitative research. Now, in quantitative research, the thing is there are too many participants. So they do research with 600 participants, 500 participants, so hundreds of participants. Whereas in qualitative research, we do a smaller number, 10, 20, 30 is a lot. 30 is a lot in qualitative, okay? And 100 is even okay in quantitative, depending on what kind of analysis you're doing, what kind of research questions you have. But 100 is common in quantitative, right? So in quantitative research, they select their sample more thoughtfully. They decide in a way, and there are mathematical formulas and analysis behind that. They decide in a way that everybody in the population gets an equal opportunity to be selected, okay? So that they can claim at the end that their findings are applicable to the whole population. They can claim generalizability. So like in the previous slide, there was this example that I select 20 participants to interview from final year students. Now in final year, there are, let's say, 150 participants, 150 students. In my research, I cannot claim that all final year students believe that fiction is impactful if only my 20 participants have said it, because this is not generalizable. I cannot make that generalization. But in quantitative research, that generalization is possible because they select their sample very thoughtfully and carefully. Okay, so probability sampling is not something that we are concerned with, but you should know that it's the one that is used in quantitative research in a way that they can make generalizable claims later. All right. Non-probability sampling is a method of sampling wherein it is not known that which individual from the population will be selected. Okay, so we don't know which individual will be selected. It's used in qualitative research. Some of the kinds are purposive sampling, snowball sampling, and convenience sampling. What are those three kinds? These are the kind of non-probability sampling. Snowball sampling is that in which you interview one person and you ask them if they know anybody who you can interview, and then you go to that person, you ask them for their contacts, and it builds up like a snowball rolling on snow, gathers more snow and becomes bigger. Okay, that's the concept. Comes from an English person, so they know what snowballs do. We don't have much of an idea there. We have hardly seen snow in our life. Convenience sampling, it's sometimes also called accidental or opportunity sampling. It involves choosing nearest individuals. So whoever is more convenient, you do research with them. Okay, that is also okay. Purposive sampling, a sample that is selected based on characteristics of a population and the objectives of the study. So I purposefully select 2 Hindu participants, 2 Muslim participants, and 2 non-religious participants. So I want the sample to be that way because that affects my research questions and my research data. So that is purposive sampling. If I select 5 males and 5 females, I decided that I want views of the half men and half women, so that I have a better data. All right. All right. So is the sampling techniques clear? Any questions about sampling?